Hey guys, this is Moise and today I am going to show you how to use Azure functions with Python programming language. The best thing about this video is that I will also show you how to make a function in other Python file and import it in your init file. You can say you will be using multiple Python files with Azure functions. Before that, let me give you a small introduction about Azure functions first. These are serverless compute that has the ability to run custom code written in different programming languages such as Node, Python, JavaScript and many more. It has the ability to scale according to the demand. Azure will manage to run it dynamically based on the events. So that's enough for the introduction and let's start programming. We will be working in Visual Code because we have extensions available for Azure functions. I am assuming that Python is already installed in your system and the paths are set. The first thing we need to do is to install an extension named as Azure Function by Microsoft. So let's go to the extension tab and try installing it. On the extension tab, type Azure Functions and you will see the first item there that we are looking for. We also need to install Azure account, but when we will install Azure function, it will automatically install Azure account extension too. Click on the extension and click install. It will take few seconds to install the extension. Great, it's done. You can see both of the extensions are installed now. Let's go back to the folder and let me close this. On the left tab, you can see a new icon available there. This is for Azure functions. Here you will have options to either create a new project, and if you are not logged in, then you will see the option to sign in or create a new account with Azure. Don't worry, if you don't have an account, you can sign up for free and can use this service free of cost for few days. I will choose the option to sign in with Azure and it will take me to the browser to sign in. Now I will select my account, and once the login is done, we will be able to close the browser. Yes, the sign in is done. Let's close the browser. You can see I am logged in with my account. Now we have an option to select subscription, which we have in our Azure account, but we will choose the option to create a new project. Clicking on it and you will have the option to browse the directory where you want to create your project. I will choose the default directory which is coming for me since I have already opened Visual Code in that folder. Now you have to select the programming language. There are different options available: Python, JavaScript, C#, and some others. We will select Python. Now it will ask us to select the Python interpreter. Currently it is looking for those available in my system. It will take some time, and here we go. I have two Python versions installed in my system, 3.7 and 3.8. You can also manually enter the path or skip it. I will choose 3.7. On clicking it, it will provide options to select template from the list. HTTP trigger template. This we can use to make HTTP call. Timer trigger template, which we can use to schedule something. Suppose you want to run a function every morning at 8. You will go for timer trigger template. And there are many other which you can look later. We will choose HTTP trigger as it will be easier for us to understand the concept. Let's give a name to our HTTP trigger function, my first function, and press enter. Set the authorization level. Different options are available. Anonymous, that is anyone can hit the URL. Admin, that means only URL with specific headers and key will be allowed to pass. For now, since this is only for learning purpose, we will choose anonymous. It will take few seconds to complete the process and will create a new project for us. And here we go. The project is created. You can see a code on your screen which is already provided in the template. Let's go through the code before we test it. So it's an init.py file with few lines of code. We are just logging in the logs that the function is triggered. We have defined request get parameter named as name that will pass in the URL. Then there is a line that is printing on the screen that hello, whatever the name is, the function has been triggered. So this is it. Let's see what we have got inside our directory. So here we have a bunch of files downloaded from the template. We have a folder with the name we provided for the template. It has init file and some other stuff. The only file you need to know for now is requirement.txt file. Whenever you install some extra Python package, for example NumPy or any other, you have to mention the package name in this file. That's all you need to know. Let's go back to our directory. Now, what should be the next step? Let's try to deploy these files to Azure function and let's see how it goes. For that, you need to go to the Azure tab, and here at the top you can see an upward arrow icon, which is the deploy button. Click on that and it will ask you to select the subscription. Click the option and it will show you the list. In my case, I have two different subscription. For you, it might be one. I will select the first one and then press OK. It will load in few seconds. Now you have the option to create function app on Azure, and it will also show you already existing Azure function. We will create a new function app, so I will select that. Now enter the app name. Let's say my first Azure function app. Hit enter. Now it will ask for the Python version we want our app to run in. You will choose the Python version which you set on your machine. Also, you can see it at the bottom of VS Code. For me, it's 3.7, so I will select 3.7. The last thing it will ask is the location of the app we want to set. I will choose the most common one, Central US. It will take few seconds to deploy. Let's wait for it. Let me show you my subscription. Let's open it and you can see I have few deployed apps, and for you it will be an app getting deployed with the loader sign. It might take up to a minute, so let's wait for the app to be deployed and then we will look into it. So it's done. Let's see what we got in our deployed app. Let's open it. Inside function you can see the function file with the name we set. Let's see what we have in it. It's a JSON with the name of file we want our function to load. For us, it's init file. We have defined the auth rule, and here is the method getPost. We have also defined a type which is HTTP for us. Now let's check for the file which we deployed. In the files folder, you can see all our local files which are also deployed. Here is the folder with the file init.py. And you can see the code is exactly the same. Enough with the explanation. Let's close these folder now and try the URL. For that, right click the function and there is the copy function URL option. Use that. I will let you know about these in a while. Let's check the URL first. Let me copy the URL. Let's go to the new tab of Chrome and paste the copied URL. As you know, we need to pass a parameter with key name. Let's pass that. For value, I can say programmer in house and hit enter. Here we go. You can see that output saying hello programmer in house. This HTTP trigger function executed successfully. Time to dig deeper now. We will create a new Python file that will have a function and will import that function in our init file. So go to the Explorer tab and let's create a new Python file in the same my first function folder. I will call it somenumbers.py. Let's define a small function that will take two numbers as a parameter and will return their sum. So numbers, we will put value 1, value 2 parameter, then return value 1 plus value 2. Let's save this and go back to the init file. Here we're gonna import that function. This dot indicate that it is the same folder. If you had other folder, you would have used two dots and then folder name. Now we will create two variables which will read the two new parameters. Well, one is equals to request.params.get and let's call it val1. I will convert those to int since we are going to sum those variables. Let's duplicate this one in the next row. Let's rename it to val2 and here also. Now time to update the output line. Here we're gonna say sum of val1 plus val2 is equal to, now we will call our function sum numbers dot and the function name sum number, and we will pass the parameters which is val1 and val2. Let's write a line of code here which prints some text so I can show you that line in our logs. So I will write under val2 and I will write print, hey, you are in live streaming logs, and I will pass val1 and val2 to be printed too. Let's save this file and time to deploy the app. Since you all know these steps, we are going to do it quickly. This time I'm not going to create a new Azure app function. Instead I will use our already created function. It gives the warning press deploy. Here it will take some time again to deploy the app. Let me show you streaming log in Azure. So right click the HTTP trigger function and click start streaming log. It will open a new tab in Chrome, and this is the functions, the metrics provided by Azure to monitor your functions with live metrics. Let it get loaded. You can monitor incoming, outgoing request function and function health. On the right hand you have log section where you can see the logs of your function. Let's go back to our app and see if it is deployed. So the app is deployed, and let's try using the URL with the new parameters. This time we will use incognito browser to see if the URL access for anonymous person is working fine. Let's paste the URL and provide the name and the other two new parameters which we said val1 and val2. So val1 will be 5 and let's say val2 will also be 5 and hit enter. And now you can see the output. You can see the desired output coming and the sum is correct as well. 5 plus 5 is 10. Let's try to change the val2 to 7. Oops. Let's make it 7 and see if the sum is fine. So yeah, the sum is coming fine. Let me show you the log section also, which has printed the logs that hey, you are in the live streaming log 5 and 7. So that is the end of this video. So please let me know if you have any questions related to that in the comment section, and please like, subscribe and share my video. Thank you.